Hey everyone, what's up? How's it going? Welcome back. Yet another fucking episode of Thom Talks. This week, I've got a guest. His name happens to be Mr. Bruno. Hello, Mr. Bruno.
Hello, Mr. Thom. How
How
are you
are you?
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. We
I'm
were just
doing
talking
freaking great.
we were just talking about shitting.
Yeah, yeah. We were
And
talking about the act of not like literally shitting, like
yeah,
feces, poop, that kind of thing.
yeah. And I brought up that, sometimes, at least me, sometimes, I'll have a person be like, I only shit like 2 or 3 times a week.
And I don't get that. I
I
don't get
don't
how
get
people
it.
can do that. Like
What is
I
going on?
I swear to God, I feel like I'm the gassiest person that I know. I don't shit like I probably shit at least like probably once a day. Like at least
That's
once.
that's about my schedule too. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
a
that's an
good schedule.
average. That's a good
Yeah.
schedule. However, I feel like I fart all the fucking time, dude. I literally can't and sometimes it's when I've woken up after sleeping, which means that I haven't eaten anything for what, 9 hours?
It's just air.
And it's just air. It's just air.
Farts are just air shits,
That's
honestly.
it. They're literally just air shits. And there's a saying that I live by that relationships are like farts. If you
Uh-huh.
have to force it, it's probably shit. So
That's good.
keep it in mind, everybody. A
That's
little
good.
love talks from Mr. Bruno.
I like that. That's not, are you in a relationship right now?
I am indeed,
Good
yes.
job. Way to
Yeah.
go.
And I'm not
Nice.
forcing it. This is it's a nice, quaint little fart I've got going right
That's
now. It's
good. Yeah.
nothing too bad. It's really nice.
It's not like a silent but deadly relationship
No,
you got going on.
no. And it's great because she burps and farts all the time too. It's we just rip ass in front of each other. It's
That's
great.
good. That's the kind of relationship you need with someone.
Yeah, it's what I've needed for a long time.
I don't get like if you're in a relationship with at least this is just me, but like you gotta be comfortable just letting loose.
Yeah, the whole like I understand that there's a lot of like societal norms surrounding like ladylike and things like that and so I understand that for many ladies there might be a trepidation of like, oh, like I don't fart as much around my boyfriend when we're getting, when we're starting out. And
Mhm.
maybe I can understand that as like a courtesy thing, but then at a certain point, if you're like months into the relationship and you still feel like you got to go into another room to let some ass rip,
Come on.
yeah, come on.
Get your
I
shit together.
let it out. Literally get your shit together.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
just let it out. I'm not saying you gotta shit in front of him, but if you
No.
like it, but that's because that's a personal experience. Like my girlfriend, what if she'll be in the bathroom, put on her makeup, I'll be like, I gotta piss. She's like, okay, and I just piss. That's something that we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Shitting is a very personal. It's our own unique personal experiences, but we rip ass, we burp.
Did
It's just
you
bodily functions.
did you grow up religious? This is a weird segue.
I like that. I like the turn that it took there. I did not know.
Okay. I just thought because of your I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Oh
this I
no.
just want you to understand where my brain was with that question.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about how pooping is such a personal experience. I also believe that, but I think it's partially because I was raised Catholic,
Oh,
where like
really?
things with like your body and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it's very personal,
Yeah,
you know?
I think that there are some things tend to be a very open person
Mm.
about just like myself and my body. So, like with my girl us pissing in front of each other, we really could not care any less. Like that's something that it's whatever. Pooping is just that's something that's just special. That's our special little time that we have.
Yeah,
Um
that's a special human time. Like everyone
yeah.
relates to pooping.
Yeah, exactly. But I was
It's one of those
so
universal things. I'm sorry. It's one of those I just thought about how impactful pooping really is.
Yes, it is. It is. It's incredibly impactful. It's one of the most like satisfying times of day. Sometimes you have those that are like, "Oh, that was okay." Like that was an all right poop, whatever. But sometimes you've got that shit that just it happens and there's nothing there it's
Yeah.
incomparable to any
But
other feeling of euphoria.
but you get those really bad ones sometimes.
Oh. You get the ones where like even it may not have even been that like it may not have been constipation level, but the ones that just hurt afterwards for no goddamn reason. it's like it stings almost. For for why? For
For
why?
why? Why? See,
It just
that's why I think God exists, because he's punishing us.
yeah, he lives every day. Be like, you know what? This piece of shit. He's gonna have a terrible time in the toilet today.
Yeah. I mean, he's not gonna die, but I'm gonna make his
No,
asshole
he's
hurt.
not gonna die, but he's gonna wish he did.
Yeah.
So, um, I was not raised religious the way. So
Yeah,
I
we've done like 5 minutes
yes.
on poop. So
Yes, yes, yes. To back to your question about religion, which I can see how we went from poop to religion. I love how where this is going already.
that's right.
Um, so my mom and dad never got married.
Oh, okay.
They were together for some years in the early '90s, and then they split up. And then I was I'm technically I'm result of a one night stand technically.
Oh, okay.
Which is an interesting story. But my mom had me, and then but my dad was so like, yeah, I would like to be the dad. So they parented me just separated. So for the first couple years of my life, I was in Nashville, which is where I was born,
Oh,
and then
I love Nashville.
yeah, I love Nashville.
Yeah.
And then my dad lived in Chicago, so I was going back and forth, and then that became a lot. So my mom moved to Chicago, and then steadily over the years, like moved from the city, which she really didn't like, to the suburbs, like slowly further and further away,
Uh-huh.
just because she doesn't like city life. And so my Meemaw or my grandma, that's for all you non-Southerners out there, that's
I
Southern
was gonna
talk
say
for grandma.
I have
Um,
mama.
yeah, yeah, and it's different for every Southern family has their own different
I
things
got
they call.
papa and mama.
Yeah, papa, and then some people, the traditional Southern term for grandpa is peepaw,
People.
which is just abysmal. But
Yeah, that sounds inappropriate.
yeah, yeah, it really does. Meemaw is good, but just switching those consonants, it's
Yeah, all of
interesting
a
what that
sudden.
does.
Yeah,
It's so
that
weird.
the world of language is just amazing.
It's fascinating. So my Mima is very religious. She or not like heavily religious. Like she's incredibly accepting of of LGBTQ and
Yeah.
of any of the demographics that many religious people today are not very accepting of. She is.
Yeah.
She kind of, and it's interesting because she was raised around a lot of kind of homophobia and some slight racism. So she's very much breaks the
Any
mold.
any old person, they were definitely raised around like blatant homophobia and blatant
Absolutely.
racism. Like it's
100%.
like, because if you think about it, like now it's like 2020, so 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's whenever like civil rights and shit was happening.
Yes. Yeah. That was the time where it was like, you know, we're saying, oh man, like, that's gay was a lot more common like that. And it was with that, like, with that vindictiveness of like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, it was everywhere. And
Yeah,
it
or
was
just
very,
beating up a gay person
yeah.
because you think they're gay. You don't even know they're gay.
You
You
don't
just
even know
think
for a
they are.
fact.
Yeah.
You don't even know for a fact. You'd be
That was
like,
just like, yeah, whatever.
you could be like, "Are you gay?" And they'd be like, "No." And be
No,
like,
and they're
"I
fuck
think
you.
you're gay."
Yeah, and I was also thinking about the other day how young America is.
Oh my god. It's what since when did it for what was it 1774
1776 or
76
yeah.
I think it was it was 76 because I think it was like written in 1774 and then signed or something but yeah 17 so what is that that's like 300 years
Yeah.
300 years roughly?
Compared to, you go to Mexico.
Ages. How long has that been? How long? What is that?
Centuries, dude.
Like
Like
literally
BC.
centuries. It's been like
It's
it dates
insane.
back to the Aztec, and then what? We've been around for
Yeah.
300 years, and it
We
wasn't even our land. It wasn't even our land. We've been living on this property that we invited ourselves into for
Yeah.
300 years, and we've been like, yeah, we're so old. Oh my goodness.
we're
No,
such
dude.
we're such babies compared to every
Oh my
I
god.
was looking at like just like the oldest artifacts and like countries. That's what my brain does. I'm like, oh, what's old? And
Yes.
it just makes you realize how boring the US is.
Oh my God, it's boring. I I was listening to around the time that the horrible events following George Floyd and the protests
Yeah.
began. I took part in a lot of it was weird because COVID was also starting to happen, so I was very much wanted to be active in many of the protests that were happening in Chicago, and I was lucky enough to be involved in like three or four that were
Yeah.
around my neighborhood, and there were some really big ones like taking over streets and everything. It was very inspiring, and it was
Hmm.
beautiful to see all those people out there. Um, and I was listening to this podcast called 1619, and it deals with a lot. It's a podcast that dealt a lot with talking about like the history of African Americans in the country.
Sounds
Um,
interesting.
and one of the things that it was talking about was following, like, Declaration of Independence is signed, we become our own country, and then slavery still happened. Like, these things are still going. Like, there's still a lot of really horrible things that are happening.
Mm.
One of the things that many Americans were struggling with, particularly white Americans, was this feeling that we weren't really, even though we signed a Declaration of Independence, we didn't feel fully independent from Great Britain and from Europe,
Mm.
because a lot of the art, mainly music, show like plays, architecture, especially architecture, was all derived from Europe. It was all things that, like, when they had colonized, they were still living in buildings that had been built by them. So it was talking about one of the episodes talked about how this guy was walking down the street one day, and I if I I'm my details may be fuzzy, but he was walking down the street. He walked by the stable. There was this old African American gentleman in the stable, and he was like cleaning out a bucket or something, and he was singing this song, and he was struck by the way that he was just like, in his voice he could hear like this sort of melancholy, just solemn, like, not anguish, but just like this very strong sense of
Mm.
individualism. And just he was very struck by the way he was singing it and the movement of his body. Like, his shoulders were hunched and he had his elbows were poised in a very interesting way. And this guy, this white dude, was struck by it. He was a playwright. And he was like, wow, that's incredible. And so he grabbed that and he took memory of that, wrote it down, started writing it out, added his own sense of interpretation, and went on to put on this show about this guy, which ended up being very exaggerated, very sort of his own interpretation of that man, as well as many other
Mm.
African Americans. And that show came to be known as Jim Crow. And that
Ah.
show was the first, what is like, when it's written about, is one of the first times in which people in America felt that they had done something that wasn't pulling from European culture, and was the first uniquely American, like, big works of art that was made.
Uh.
And so the whole episode of the podcast was talking about, fascinating, that one of the first quote original, like, American works was mocking black people,
Yeah, that is.
was literally just a mockery of African
Yeah,
Americans.
that's
And that was
interesting.
that's the that's the thing that my brain does too, is that wherever, like, where that started, that whole, like, from America being, when it was made, like, that's something I looked a lot into, especially when I was studying music. That was like, we looked into Latin American music history and American
Yeah.
music history. So
Do do you ever like look up do you ever look up like the worst ways to die? You ever delve into that universe?
yes, dude, I did you ever watch A Thousand Ways to Die?
I love that show, dude.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It was a great show, dude.
I
It was
love that
great.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
But like I've been doing a lot of I've been doing a lot of research on like executions. Like,
Yes.
like legal executions and how long they take and what's like the
Yeah.
most like affordable and what's like the most. It's really interesting actually. Like
Yeah. What are
lethal
some of
and
the things that you found about it?
lethal injection is god awful. That is the last one I would take. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
dude. It's insane. Cause they're
That's
like, yeah, sometimes
yeah.
it takes 10 minutes and other times it takes like an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh
And it,
see, I haven't heard that. So what is the with? I know like I know the end result of lethal injection,
yeah,
obviously. Like, what have you? Has your research yielded anything about like what happens to the body during the
it
process?
feels what apparently what it feels like is that your blood is on fire. So under your skin is on fire,
Yes.
and is fine, and then you start vomiting and all. Yeah, it's a
Uh,
brutal, and it takes a while most
yeah.
times to do
Yeah.
that. You know
That's what
what
I
I
heard
would do
about.
though?
What?
Firing squad.
Fi- yeah, firing squad. Do you think that would be like a?
It's
I mean, I
efficient.
guess. Yeah, it's a fit. It's quick. Over with.
Hmm.
What if you had that one guy in a firing squad who was just a lousy shot and he like hit you in the shoulder on accident? Like, oh shit, sorry, I aimed low.
They all prank you and they're like, let's shoot his balls.
Let's kneecap him.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I've read that that's probably like one of the fastest ones.
Yeah,
If you're
absolutely.
thinking about execution, it's the fast way.
It's the fastest. It's over with quickest. It's
Yeah.
like one bullet through the head, you're done. And especially like the ones where they do like they put a bag over your head so you don't have to like see it
Yeah. And
coming.
firing squads, especially, you got like what, like 10 dudes shooting at you at the same.
Yeah. And if they're dude, if they're all aiming for like your head,
It's it's over.
it's
man.
over. It's over. You don't even feel it. I think that's something like on the topic of death. I think about death. This sounds depressing, but I think about death.
No, I
a
love
lot.
talking about death. I do too.
I don't think about like killing myself. I used to, not anymore. But I think about a lot about like what something that really really fascinates me is I was so fascinated by it that when I was in a playwriting class in high school, I worked it into my play, and I was thinking about. I had a conversation with a friend of mine that I eventually like transposed into the play, and we were talking about like I was like, "What do you do when you die?" And he was like, "Well, I guess it's just like, nothing." And I was like, "Yeah, but like, what does nothing look like?" He's like, "Oh, it'd just be like all black." I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
that's
not
black. That's a color. You can perceive black. What does nothing look like?"
Yeah, it's I always try to relate it to it's like before you were born.
Yeah, I can't even. I
You
can't even
don't
think
know.
about what it was like.
You don't know.
No. And have you heard there are those people that remember being inside the womb? Have you heard
Does
about
that
that?
exist?
There are people who claim that they have memories of being in the womb. They don't remember the whole thing. They just remember like moments of seeing like warm orange colors from like the walls of the womb. Don't know the validity, but people have
Yeah.
said that it's like, oh yeah, like I just have like one or two like flashing images of like, it being very warm and like the colors.
That's
I'm like,
my
what?
my thing with that is it's also like the same people that like they die,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come back.
Yeah, they're like
Doesn't
resuscitated.
Yeah, doesn't your brain release like DMT or something whenever it releases like a chemical that makes you
Yeah.
trip when you're dying and when you're
Really?
like early, I think so. So, or like when you're, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And
Really?
that's why, like, yeah, that's why whenever you're like dying, you have like all these trippy things going on.
Yeah.
I believe that's true. I could be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure that's true.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't doubt it. There's I got into this rabbit hole of going on Reddit and then reading. I like to go on like uh r slash just people like asking like, hey, blank kind of person, tell me about this kind of experience you've had, like different like, oh, teachers, what's the
Oh,
worst
yeah. I love like Ask Red. I love those.
ask it, yeah. And so there was talking about like, hey, anybody who has like died or like briefly been pronounced dead but then been resuscitated, what was your experience like? Some people said nothing. They shut their eyes, they opened them, and
Yeah.
it was like no time passed. But some people were like, one woman said that she was in this like meadow and she saw a representation of what she imagined was to be Jesus or something like that. And he said that like, and he spoke to her and she said that she was filled with this sensation. But when she came out of dying, she was like crying. Like she was some people in the comments were like, "Oh, she's religious. She probably made it up." It's like, well, yeah, but she was sobbing pure
Yeah.
tears of joy at whatever she experienced
I
when she died.
I think it's that chemical because like
Yeah.
if even if you're religious or any good memory you have, I feel like if you're like just tripping that hard or
Yeah.
whatever it does to your brain. I've never died. I don't know.
No. No, I've never died either.
But I feel like it would your brain would probably go like your life flashing before your eyes. It would probably go to like some good things that have happened.
Yeah, I would
Some
imagine
things like positive. I would hope at least.
yes. Yeah, I like that's something that I used to be, of course, like I think I don't think there is really much problem at all with being at least a little freaked out by death. Like I know some people are like,
No,
"No, don't be scared of it. It's going to happen." Well, it's like, but yeah, but like think about it. Like there's so much you don't know what's going to happen. I
it
think it's
is.
completely fine to be scared about it or think about it a lot because
I
it's
have I have existential crisis about death a lot
oh, I do too. I've been having
where
it a lot lately.
I'll be driving in my car and then all of a sudden I'll be like I'm like literally minuscule on the earth. And like if I die, like I don't know what happens and it'll be 3 or 4 generations and no one remembers me, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I like that's something I think like I think about how there are moments where especially when I'm just like if it's like late and I can't sleep and I'm just laying in my room, I'm like, wow, I am a speck on a speck
Yeah.
in the universe. It's complete like this is there's so much to me right now and then there's this feeling. I think it's an emotion called I think it's sonder. I don't know if I'm mixing the word up, but there's a word to define the emotion when you walk past someone on the street and it is the realization that that person has a life that is as deep and as complex as
Yeah.
yours. Like they have all of their own experiences they've had that you will never know about.
Yeah, I always think about that because like at least me you see people and you think of them like sometimes you think of them like NPCs, like
Yes.
strangers. Like you don't know
Yes,
them. You don't know
absolutely.
who the fuck they are, but
No.
they got a mom and dad and brothers and sisters and they've
Yeah.
probably had people die and pets they love. Like you don't know what the fuck they got going on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There you think of them as NPCs, and then there's brief moments every now and then where where you realize that you're the NPC of their life,
Yeah, that's because they have no idea who
I've
you.
had that thought many times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty. Reality is just fucking nuts. This episode's getting real existential here. This is
it. Yeah, what are we halfway through? Not even. And
yeah.
it's right here. Fantastic.
This is
I love
great.
it.
I'm sure there are people that want to be like know more about you, like where you're from and all your family stuff. But I like talking about death.
Yeah, I
um,
love talking about death. This is why I feel like there are people who are like, oh, can you address the fell off? It's like, wait, I'm talking about dying. Just give me a second.
yeah, give me a second. Or I'm thinking about like how I would want to
Yeah.
die, the best ways to die. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in Chicago. Have you ever been to the Six Flags Great America up there?
Absolutely, I love it.
Yeah. Um,
Yep.
that's right. I didn't even have to research that, dude. I'm just letting you know. That's just the knowledge I got
Yeah,
right up here.
that's
Um,
it. That's so everybody in Chicago's like, oh yeah, Six Flags.
Six Flags. I'm a roller coaster nerd. I'm sure you know this. Um, I grew up on
Really?
like, yeah, that's right. I grew up
I
on,
didn't know that.
yeah, I grew up on like Roller Coaster Tycoon and like Zoo Tycoon. I play Planet Coaster now. I'm
Ooh,
just a big roller coaster nerd. I
yep.
grew up just like reading about roller coasters. So like that's my jam.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've always been interested in Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I think I tried to play it once, but I think I got burned out on it just because like it's so like detail oriented and my
Yeah.
patience just was not high enough for it.
It's very fun. It's very like management oriented where
Yeah.
you have to design where your janitors go and you have to like assign your mechanics and stuff. But that's playing that growing up as like a fucking like 8, 9, 10-year old dude. greatest time of my life.
Nice.
It was
Yeah, I can
amazing,
imagine.
man. Did you grow
I
up playing?
love.
I know you're a video game guy. I know that. We've talked
Woo!
about video games
Absolutely.
many times.
Yes, sir.
What are like some of your favorites
Oh, okay. So,
of all time?
off
We
the
don't have to
bat,
do like just current or anything.
of all time, I'm going
Yeah,
to say The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion
Oblivion's
is
great.
one of my favorite games. A lot of people talk about, like, a lot of people say Skyrim. Yes, like the first time I played Skyrim, that was an experience on, like I wish I could play it for the first time again. When I was a kid, oh my
Yeah,
God. But something about, I played Oblivion first. And something about Oblivion was just so, I don't, first of all, the quests in Oblivion, in my personal opinion, the faction quests are so much better than the ones in Skyrim. The Dark Brotherhood quest line in Oblivion,
yeah.
perfect, so good.
And
Um,
the thing about Skyrim, when you replay it, it's very repetitive.
yes,
It's
yeah,
so repetitive.
yeah.
But Oblivion, I could replay that a lot
Oh
and
my
not
God,
be like tired of it. But like
yeah,
Skyrim, I'll be like, oh, I want to play it, and I play it for 30 minutes, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta do
yeah.
this shit again.
You got that itch, like, oh man, I miss Skyrim. It's so great, and you play it, it's like, damn, do I really have to walk there?
Yeah, yeah. You're like,
Dude,
I gotta walk to the
fuck,
top of
dude.
this fucking mountain,
Yeah.
and
And I'm
there's
like,
a blizzard going on.
yeah. I I like, it's a great first experience. Like I always recommend it to people who haven't played it. And like when I was a kid, I replayed it a bunch. Like I have probably like 4 or 5 different characters.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
only finished the story for like 2 of them because at a certain point I was like, oh yeah, this story I don't have to fucking finish it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I finished it for one
yeah,
person, and the
yeah,
other ones I
exactly.
just fuck around and.
Yeah. But with Oblivion, like I played it years ago when I was younger, and then I didn't play it for many years, and then it got available on backwards compatibility for Xbox
Oh
One,
yeah.
and I was like, oh God, I haven't played this forever. I played it; it has all the DLC now, and so I played the whole main story, all the mage quests, all of the guild quests, the DLCs, and it was fantastic. I forgot how good it was. Um,
That's like
well,
we were talking about earlier, LA Noir,
yes.
when they did the remaster,
Oh
and
yes.
it came with all the DLC, and the
Yep.
DLC is like my favorite part of that game.
I haven't gotten around to the DLC yet, actually. I
Oh, it's
played through it,
so good, dude.
but I need to yeah, I need to get around to that.
You go to a weed farm in one of them where they're
Really?
like
Oh
selling
my
weed.
God,
Yeah,
I need
it's
to do that.
hilarious. It's funny.
I
It's
need
just
to.
really good, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely do that then. I finished it, but then I like needed to make space and uninstall it, so I didn't even know. I'm gonna play the DLC now.
Yeah, the DLC is it's like it's so good on that game.
Okay.
But that game is amazing. That's probably like my number like 2 or 3 favorite
Yeah.
game of all time. I
LA
love
Noir
that game.
had a very strong hold on me for a while. I love LA Noir. I played when I was a kid. I was a huge fan of Guitar Hero 3: Legends of Rock.
Guitar Hero was so fun back in the
Oh
day,
my
dude.
God, I won a Guitar Hero tournament when I was 7.
Really?
I went to a carnival and they had a Guitar Heroes thing set up, and I felt really bad because even though I was 7 years old, I went up and the second contestant that I went against, I battled like I think it was like 4 or 5 people, and then they were like, "Oh, dude, you won the whole thing." I was like, "Oh, okay." One of the contestants was in a wheelchair
Oh no.
and did not have a right forearm. Uh, and but he was, for what it's worth, he was really good. So like
Yeah.
I could tell that he like practiced like that. But even still, like I
Yo,
beat
but
him.
when you come for the king, you best not miss.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I was like, I can't be. And you know what? But then after like years later, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, no, you know what? I treat everybody equally. Okay.
That's right.
I treated him equally.
That really
So I
wouldn't be
felt,
fair if you went easy on him.
yeah, that would be condescending if I was like that and
Yeah.
didn't want to be kind of. I was like, so I was just like, yeah, I did it.
You maybe would have gotten some like, oh yay, good job,
Oh
claps,
yeah,
you know.
nice, you little kid.
Yeah, you
You know,
little kid.
beating this
But
amputee. Congratulations. How do you feel?
And you're like,
Little brat.
I'm 7.
Yeah, I'd be like, what? I don't even know what some of the words you're saying mean.
Yeah, I'm literally a
He was an
child.
adult, so I was like, okay.
Oh, he
Um,
was an adult?
yeah, he was an adult. He was just happened to not
Okay.
have like he was whatever, 20 or something. I
I
could tell like
wouldn't
he.
feel as bad about as a kid. Come on.
Yeah,
You're a kid.
if it was another like, child who was an amputee,
Oh my
then I would
god.
have been like, oh Jesus.
That's what I originally pictured in my head was like a 9-year-old with his
No, no,
arm that
no.
was
Oh
cut off
God.
or something.
Probably would have like if it was a kid, I probably would have been like, Dad, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
leave.
Can I
I
just
can't do this.
can I just
Yeah.
not play against the kid with
Yeah. Can you give us like a
amputee?
full-grown adult who really doesn't care about
Yeah.
children? I don't want to take the guilt on this.
This is just gonna make me and everyone else feel bad.
Yep, really uncomfortable. I
What's
love like
what's the worst sorry, what's the worst thing you've ever done to a stranger?
a worst thing I've ever done to a stranger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like I I don't like doing anything
But like
bad
when
to
you were a
any
kid,
strangers.
you
I'm trying to,
know,
that's what I'm
like
thinking about.
yeah.
I think oh God.
I'll tell you mine first if you
Yeah, what's yours?
okay. Do you have incredible pizza in Illinois?
We have some pretty good pizza.
No,
Everybody talks.
no, I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about a place called
Oh,
Incredible Pizza.
I don't. I don't think so. Usually, people from Illinois talk about Lou Malnati's, which
It's
let's be is
basic.
not that great. But
It's
you
an
know.
indoor arcade,
Oh, really?
and they
Okay.
have indoor go karts.
Ooh,
Yeah, there's a
nice.
chain. So they have like arcade games and go karts, and they have like
Okay.
mini rides, like a few
Nice.
things you can do in there.
Oh, okay.
It may be like a southern thing. I think it's more of a southern, like lower Midwest
That
thing.
sounds
You
like
know,
Go Bananas
it
for
might be.
us.
Yeah, it may be your Go Banana because I've never heard of Go Bananas. It may be your
Yeah,
Go Bananas.
yeah. Go
But
Bananas is like that.
I was there. Fuck, I don't know. I was maybe in 4th grade, and this is an accidental one as well.
Okay.
My friend was, those basketball games where you just shoot the ball in the goal and you just try
Yes.
to,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking, you go for it. My friend was doing that, and I was in 4th grade, and I have ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD, so I'm just a little wild
Yes.
boy.
Hey, me too. Let's
Yeah,
go.
that's right. I just got diagnosed last year, baby.
Woo! Nice. Better late than never, man.
That's right. But I see him shooting, and we played on the basketball team together. Like we play
Oh, nice.
basketball together. So I run up and I fucking just bah! Swat his shot. And there's like an elderly lady right next to him playing with her like grandson. And the
Oh,
ball just
Lord.
fucking hits her in the face.
Oh. How badly was she injured?
I don't know.
What did you just like book it?
I booked it.
Ran from the
booked
scene
it.
of the crime as fast
I
as you
booked
could.
it. I saw
Oh
she
my God.
fell and I was like, I'm out of here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
And that haunts me to this day.
wow. Do you feel like there's been a moment in your life where the karma from that has gotten you? Or do you think
100%.
Okay.
No, 100%, dude. My life after that went to shit. So, yeah, that was karma hitting me for that.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think if
I
could-
hope she's definitely dead by now
yeah, absolutely.
because she was already really old then.
Yeah, she's definitely no. She died. I forgot. I think I heard a story about that. Some old lady.
I just hope it wasn't me that killed her.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like I read a story about some old lady years ago, like dying in the hospital after she suffered some fatal basketball wound. But I don't know about anything about that.
Not me. That was not me.
No, definitely not. Nope.
So does that story make you feel better about any story you may tell?
I see. I'm trying to think of something that's even remotely on par. I
got no. I was a fucking asshole when I was a kid, dude.
I see. I was like, I've always had anxiety for most of my life, and like recently, the anxiety has taken on a different form. Like it's a much more physical form now. Like I get like slightly more frequent like panic attacks. I have heart rate issues. But when I was younger, it was just very. It was much more mental. So it was much more like I overthought things a lot. I would like really overthink things. I would keep myself out of certain situations because my brain was like, don't do that.
See, that's what mine is now. That's what my
Yeah.
anxiety is now.
So when I was a kid, I wouldn't interact a lot with strangers because of that anxiety.
Yeah.
But I one thing I did do. This wasn't really a terrible thing that I did to a person or anything like that, but this is something that I did that was really stupid. I went when I was a kid, and looking back on it, the end result is even stupider. When I was a kid, I was at a day camp. We went to the Museum of Science and Industry downtown Chicago. Cool museum, lots of like there's dinosaur.
I've seen it. I've never
like
been
that.
there.
Yeah.
But I've seen it.
Yeah, it's cool. Got a lot
Yeah.
of different exhibits. But then at the end of our tour, we're walking through, and then we get to this little gift shop, and we're walking around, and I see this little puppet, and it's a dinosaur egg with a cracked top, and there was nothing in it. And I was like, what? And I grabbed it, and you put your hand through the bottom of the dinosaur egg, and you come out a little hand puppet of a baby dinosaur. I was like, oh my God, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. And I sat there like enthralled by this puppet, and then I hear the day camp person's like, all right, we go. So like, okay, I walk out, and I get on the bus, I sit down, and I'm just staring at this puppet, and my friend's like, yo, did you buy that? And I was like, no. And I was like, oh fuck, I didn't buy this. I just walked out without even realizing it. And so I sit on the bus, and I'm like, dude, what am I going to tell my parents? And he's like, my friend's like, just tell them that I bought it for you. And I was like, okay, yeah. And so I get there, I sit down with my parents, and they're like, whoa, you got a puppet at the thing? And I was like, yeah, my friend bought it for me. And I totally think that they could see how horribly I was lying. Like I'm sure that in my head, I'm like, I look so cool right now.
But yeah,
but I
you're
probably
like, yeah,
looked like a tomato.
My friend totally bought it for me.
Yeah. And they looked at the price tag, and then they looked back up at me, and they said, your friend spent $25 on this for you? And I went, fuck, and just cracked immediately. And I was like, no, I accidentally stole it. And so then my dad was not only pissed at me for like 3 days straight, but then he brought me to the store.
Yeah.
Go back and be like, I stole this on accident. And so that was great.
That's such a good.
Something kind of terrible. There we go. There's a thing. There's something actually bad I did. I threw my cat down a flight of stairs.
What?
When I was a little kid, let me clear this, little, like really little, like stupid little.
How little?
I don't know, like 4.
Okay, that's
5
forgivable.
maybe?
Yeah, that's forgivable.
It's like, no, it was like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah,
but,
I was little. I was like 17.
Yeah, I was 17, man. I wasn't even a legal adult.
We grow up, dude. When I turned 18, I realized that was wrong.
I've changed my ways. I don't abuse animals anymore. No, I was a dumb little kid with this fat, adorable cat named Iris, this white orange spot cat, and I was standing at the side door by the flight of stairs. It was a flight. It was only a flight, and I was like, I was holding her, and then I walked up to the stairs, and I don't know if you've ever had this moment as a little kid where your brain just goes, I wonder what would happen if I did this, and I just threw her.
I was gonna say, I literally had that thought as an adult.
Yeah, I threw her. She grabbed my arm on the way down and scratched me.
Ow.
And so later, my dad was giving me a bath, and he was like, what is that? And in my head, I had a moment where I was like, I'm going to make up the best lie in the world, and it's going to get me off. And out of my mouth came, I threw the cat down the stairs. And he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He's like, you don't do that, dude.
You don't do that, man. Why would you do that?
This is a question. Did the cat hit the stairs, or did it hit the bottom of the stairs?
I think my memory of it is very
That's gotta
fuzzy.
be.
I threw it, and I think she, like, her bottom legs hit the very bottom stair.
Okay.
She tumbled a little bit, but then she, like, landed. You know, she landed on her.
The cat was fine, though.
Yeah, the cat was okay.
Yeah, cats are fucking tanks. I don't think people realize
really
how fucking like.
Yeah, have you seen...
And like I have 2 cats, and they're stupid.
Oh yeah.
Like they're smart,
pretty dumb.
But they're also like so dumb, and they always run into shit, and they like fall down, and like just on their own will, they'll just like fall on their side. Like that's just what, and it's like, oh God.
That's what they do.
That's what that, but then like you think they're hurt, and then 10 minutes later they're just wanting food, just begging
Yeah.
like usual.
I always feel like cats have a very, very like subconscious level of needing to look like they're never hurt. So like, you see a cat like just eat shit and fall off a table, slam onto the ground, and then quickly upright themselves and walk away. Like, what happened? Like nothing happened.
Cats are the animal version of those guys that wear shorts in the winter and are like, it's not that cold.
Like, dude, it's really not that cold.
Yeah.
I have a sweater on, bro. Like, if I'm warm up top, it don't matter.
But on the inside, they're like, my knees are
Like, dude,
fucking freezing.
Can't feel my bottom half of my body.
I never got that, dude. I wear pants like almost 24/7. I'm a pants guy.
Yeah. I don't understand. I can't. Shorts are not. I think it might because. So I'm like I am. I haven't done the 23andMe, so I don't know exactly. But I feel like I'm at least like 40-ish% Latino, and so a lot of what a lot of Latino heritage is that it's not in the same place on everybody's body, but just a lot of hair growth in a specific part of your body. So my legs so freaking hairy when I don't like trim them or shave them.
I have hairy legs as well, which I don't know where that comes from. I'm not sure. I need to take a 23andMe because
I do too. I need to figure out.
Yeah, I need to figure because I was growing up. And my parents were like, yeah, you're like our family's from Poland or whatever, like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then I bring it up now and they're like, what are you talking about?
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck am I, dude?
Interesting. Yeah, my girlfriend, her grandfather, I think. So her grandfather was not only was her great grandparents lived in like an Italian, like in Sicily, and lived in literally a village, not some city, like a village with two families in the village that like married into each other. Her grandfather was in the like dead ass Italian mafia in I can't remember where in the country, but like was in the mafia, and then later in her life came to like work for a government organization to track down other members of the mafia.
And so, like, he's a snitch. He's a snitch.
He's a snitch.
Are we gonna get him killed for this?
Dude, I have no idea if this is like. I mean, he's a government official. I ain't naming no name. But,
that's right.
So here she was thinking like, according to her family and the recounts of it, she's like really Italian. She did a 23andMe. She is 0.4% Italian.
What?
How? No idea. Her grandfather is almost 100% Italian. Like, he's so Italian that
what was her grandma?
I have no idea. I don't know much about her grandma.
Do you know what her majority percentage was?
Her majority percentage, I believe, is I think Irish. Probably. So her grandmother may have had some Irish blood.
I think I got strong Irish in me as well.
Yeah, I do. So I have Latino, I have Irish, a little tiny bit of German. And, something else. I don't know if I remember it. But my family, like in both my family, but mostly my dad's side, like loves like liquor, like Latino, Irish, tequila, whiskey, scotch.
See, mine is just because we're a Catholic family.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
Drinking alcohol is a very big part of Catholicism.
Yeah. Wait, it really is?
Oh yeah, dude.
I wasn't. What kind of like what?
Not like in the religion way, just like culturally.
Yeah.
Catholics love to drink, dude.
What do they particularly go for? Like, is there any particular like
beer, anything? Yeah, anything, dude. Like, I went to Catholic school my whole life, from preschool through high school.
Right.
I went to Catholic school, and like Catholic high school was always known as just like the alcohol school.
Really?
Yeah, like there would be kids there that were like in their water bottles, they'd have fucking like vodka in it instead of water. Yeah, they were just kids doing like at 9 a.m. in psychology class.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I wasn't doing that. I was taking pills. That's
Nice.
right,
Yeah,
dude.
my high school was a public school, and it used to be before the principal that changed it around came. It used to be a pretty like what most people would refer to as like a ghetto school. Like it had like bulletproof windows because gangs
Uh,
would roll by, stuff like that. And uh, drinking wasn't as much a thing as it was just there was a lot of weed. Like it
yeah.
smelled like, but I had never experienced weed until I got to college because I was a theater kid. So like we weren't really exactly drowning in weed. Like
I
I wasn't
gotcha.
ever really offered it. You know, people like you never. I got to college. There's people like you never smoke. I'm like, dude, I was doing plays. I wasn't getting offered like. People were never like, hey, you seem cool. You want to do me? People were like, dude, you look gay. I'm like, yeah, I know.
See, that's it. That's interesting. I grew up on like the completely. I grew up playing like punk rock music and
Oh,
stuff when I was
I
in
did
high
that too.
school. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
just still didn't smoke.
Oh no, I
You
don't.
were like in a straight edge band or
It
something.
was a. I wasn't in. So I wasn't in any band. I played music every now and then with these kids who loved punk rock, but were also band kids.
Oh, I
So
gotcha.
so they weren't really getting offered weed either.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So by product of association with them, I also wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened.
But
I'm 90% confident that like part of the reason that I eventually dropped out of theater in college is just because I started smoking weed and realized that it's better to be cool than it is to be uptight.
that's
Um,
yeah, that's so true, dude. So true. No, for
and Nate to
anyone
any theater kids.
for anyone listening, do whatever you want. If you don't want to
Yes.
do it, don't do it. If you
Yeah,
want to
do what
do
you
it,
want.
be safe. Be
Yeah,
safe. That's the
it.
main thing is because I was never safe doing that shit, dude.
Yeah,
I was a
sometimes
I
where I
was a
wasn't.
I was a total idiot when I was in high school. Oh my god. I'm
Yeah.
literally surprised I'm not dead.
What do you if comfortable speaking on it? What do you think is like the most dangerous thing that you did related to that?
I mixed excuse me. Um Not Suboxone. You know Suboxone?
I
Like
don't think so.
it's a medication, it's an opioid that they give for like heroin addicts.
Oh, okay.
So it's a really strong opioid, but it was like
Yeah.
it's not Suboxone, but it's another form of it where it's like just a strip, like a fucking
Okay.
like crest strip, you know?
Yeah.
But you put it in your tongue. But I'll tell you the story. I can't even I can barely remember because obviously I was very fucked up that day.
Yeah.
But I was drinking alcohol. I think I was in like sophomore or junior year of high school. And I was hanging out with my friends and we had these my friends like older brother and sister owned this house where we would just party at, like everyone would hang out and there'd be tons of booze and stuff.
Right.
We went there and I was big into Xanax at the time.
Woo!
I was super into Xanax,
Fun
which
times.
yeah. And so like I took like 3 or 4 bars.
Oh,
Yeah. Which
really?
I used to take like 4 bars before school every day when I was like really
Wow.
addicted. I've been to rehab three
Yeah?
times. Three
Yeah.
times. Yeah. But I haven't taken Xanax in forever, dude. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but I took like 4 bars of Xanax and then we went to another friend's house to party and he had those Suboxone strips.
Right.
And I was like, I was fucked up. So I was like, hell yeah, give me some of those.
Yeah.
Because you want to get more fucked up when you're on Xanax, you know, because you're like,
course.
I'm fine. I don't feel anything,
Yeah.
whatever. And then he was like, yeah, just take like a 3/4 or a whole strip or whatever. And you're supposed to take like a quarter of a strip is like the recommended dose.
Right.
And I don't blame this person because he didn't know I was on Xanax, but I took like the whole strip and I vomited blood. I was like vomiting all night. I definitely overdosed. I was like trying to stay awake, just throwing up. Like it was horrible, dude. It was so bad. It hurt. It was not fun.
My God.
Yeah. But all good now. All good now.
Nice. Yeah.
That's right.
I didn't See, I first experience that I had with weed was in college. And then I the worst. I think like I had greened out once. The first
Mm.
time, the first time I greened out was like uh it was the last day of finals in the first semester. I smoked some weed with my friends, and I smoked out of their bong. And I guess I just took like a really must have taken a bigger hit than I thought, and I felt like the blood drain from my face, and I was like, "Guys, I need to go back to my room." And I went back to my room, laid down, and my roommate Dan is a has literally done like anything you can think of. He's a tank.
Uh-huh.
I was like, Dan. He's like, yeah, what's up, man? And I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, okay. But then right before COVID started hitting, uh, I was still in the dorms with people. We were all gonna like our plan was like, oh man, like let's stay here. Then nobody will be commuting to UIC. We're gonna be like, it'll be totally tight. Everyone will stay here and hang at the dorms. We'll like, it'll be so awesome. We'll party all the time. And then we got an email from our college and it was like, hey, if you cancel your housing contract and go home, we'll pay you back like $3,000. And people were like, fuck, so we're going home. Uh, so a few weeks before I went home, there were not many people left, but one of them was my good friend Tyler, uh, and he has since unfortunately he passed away from an overdose a few
Oh
months ago.
no.
But
I'm
he's
sorry.
oh, it's okay. He was very very much into drugs, and he was so into them that it was like nobody could really help him because it was like I don't want to not be addicted to stuff. It was like
It's yeah,
he didn't want
there's
help.
a point, and I've been at that point. There's a point where like you have to hit rock bottom,
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
sad, but for some people, rock bottom is just fucking
Is
yeah, is
is
dying.
that
Yeah.
so? But he was a great guy, and he was a genius, like math whiz, one of the smartest people I've ever had a conversation with, like totally. But he, one of my favorite stories of his is that he texted in the group chat one day. It was like, "Hey, so I heard that smoking weed, like smoking, makes you more susceptible to catching Rona. So I'm turning all my weed into edibles. Let me know if you guys want any." And I was like, you know what? I've never tried edibles before. I might as well. I'm gonna give it a
Yeah.
shot. Uh, so I talked to him and I was like, hey, he's like, hey, it's $10. I was like, okay, I gave him $10 and it was this little. He had them packed into these dissolvable little plastic capsules, like a pill almost,
Oh,
but
that's
the weed in
interesting.
there. Yeah, so you just drop it like a pill.
Huh.
That's it. Pretty tasteless. It doesn't taste
Yeah.
gross.
Doesn't taste bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was like a half. It was half full on like half full capsule of THC. Took it, like an hour and a half goes by, nothing. And I'm like, dude, I don't feel this. Like, this is weird. Like, doesn't it? And he's like, really? I'm like, okay, well, it just so happened that I think I may have perfected the formula for an edible. I figured out how to bake like as much THC as possible into one. How about like what if I like give you a little dosage of that just to like give it. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
try it out. You'll be
yeah,
my little lab rat.
yeah, exactly. Took it. Literally another hour and a half goes by, so it's been 3 hours now. Nothing. I'm like,
Nothing.
dude, what is going on, man? And he was like, all right, here's a full dose of that normal edible I gave you. Take it if you want. And I took it, grabbed it, and something in my soul just said, don't do it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this in case I need it. Um, 30 minutes later, I am laying in my room
It's over.
with my friend who's there, and I was like, oh, and it felt great at first.
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing. I felt like I was on clouds.
Yeah.
And but then it got to a point where I was watching something with my friend, and she was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I was like, uh. And so I was not coherent whatsoever. So she's like, "All right, I'm gonna tuck you in, and I'm gonna go back to my room, okay?" So she tucked me. She tucked me in bed. She shut the door, and I'm alone. Soon as she shuts the door, something in my brain just clicked and went, "Oh, I'm alone now. I'm alone. I'm really high. I'm really high, dude. Am I like in control of my? Yeah, I am. But what if I'm like not?" And then this snowball just rolls down the mountain, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna call her and ask her to come back." I press call. She doesn't. It goes straight to voicemail. She doesn't pick up, and I audibly go, "No way!" Call. It starts freaking me out. I call her again, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Not even down. I'm not even call." I'm like, "I need you to come back." No, I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. I feel terrible. So she comes back, and I'm like screaming and I'm like, Tyler, I promise you. So the next thing I'm gonna die. My heart rate is going up. I'm just losing my mind. Next day, I finally a miracle. I fall asleep. Next day, I wake up. I'm like mildly anxious to even happen. Um, and I talk to Tyler day, and I'm like, yo, just by curiosity, like, how much do you think you gave me that night? Because that was the first edible I'd taken. So I think it was like upwards of like three.
Oh my God.
I was like,
That's so
what
much.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't time, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, had you ever eaten edibles before that?
Nope.
Wow, yeah.
I'd smoked a lot of weed. That's obviously processed differently than edibles. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
same exact. So for my first edible experience, fun time, very fun.
That is very good. We're almost there. Damn. Oh wait, my roommates.
Oh man, already it's been an hour. Just
I know. I know. But I have a question for you. And this is on
yes,
a
absolutely.
personal level.
Go ahead.
Um, I see people talking shit about Mr. Bruno.
Yes,
How do you deal with that?
that's a good question. It I basically just like half the most of the time ignore it. Like
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I
Yeah.
understand it now. We're at the point that it's at. It's just like a meme to like make fun of me. I understand that. And I'm working on some merch that has to do with Fell Off. I'm talking
Okay.
to some designers. Going to be coming out soon. I hope
Hell
to
yeah.
have a release pretty soon. Um, you can hear that from me. But we're in the
My biggest thing is that
yeah,
like
have
they I don't feel like the people that talk shit on you have it doesn't make a dent in your like career really because you're still doing perfectly fine on the
no, not to me at least.
yeah, you're still doing great. And
Yeah, I'm doing okay. If you
I
like
actually genuinely
my
like your content a lot more now.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it was at a point where let me understand there are a lot of people. One of the reasons there's many reasons that people are like saying you fell off. One is just because my views are down lately. Being my content, the way the algorithm works, if you
Algorithm
are
is fucked up, dude.
yeah, it's fucked. But I've talked with my manager about this, and they understand the algorithm. They know people at TikTok works. It recommends once it figures out content people like, it's gonna show them that content more often.
Yeah.
If that's the content that you make, they're gonna put if you change it up, it gets confusing to the algorithm because it's like, oh, this isn't people don't the people that we're showing this to might not like this. It
Yeah.
shows it less. So that's
Yeah.
when people say, oh, your views are less. It's to everybody. There's people that I know, personal friends that have million followers, who are getting like 300,000 views a video, which is good. But like for the
Yeah.
amount of followers they have, does that like it makes sense? Um, so that's completely invalid because it happens to everybody. Another reason is people say, "Oh, you talk about politics." It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like I spoke my voice about things to me.
I
What is so mind-boggling to me is that when the election was made videos that didn't even give my point of view, I just encouraged people to vote. There were some campaigns that I regarding those where it was spreading the message, not to pick a specific candidate. even though from who I was as being a bisexual man, it
Yeah.
was pretty obvious who I wasn't. Even still, I was like, "Oh, vote," because not a lot of people voted, and more people could have.
Yeah, just
Do
vote.
it. Just get out and do it. I don't care who you vote for. Just vote. And people were pissed at that. They were like, political. It's like, dude, I'm just urging people to do it. I don't care what you do. Just do it. At a
Yeah.
certain point, I was like, all right, guys, I don't like Donald Trump. Then people were like, oh, okay. Bleh. And then them is because I've changed the content from that face stuff. And
Yeah.
he did at a certain point, was it just not funny to me? But like, how much longer was that going to be funny for? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I understand at a certain point in time, many people enjoyed it. And I understand a lot of people, it was going to be only funny for so long.
Yeah,
It
and
stopped being funny to me.
do you want to
And
be that dude that's
how much longer would it have been when it wasn't funny to other people?
yeah, do you want to be that dude that's just stuck doing that everyone knows is just does that one bit, you know? Do you want to be that guy where it's like, "Oh yeah, here he goes,
Actually,
doing the
no.
same
Like
thing."
I realized at a point I was like, oh, this like it's just a lot. Like I've been doing it a lot. It was hard to think of ideas to innovate a formula, and so it seemed wasn't a point where I was like, I don't think I'm being creative anymore. It was a
Yeah.
point where it was like, okay, I think that I've exhausted this like, potential of this. It's time to put it to rest.
Yeah. And
Still,
I've had little bits and jokes like that too on my page where I'm like, "Okay, I think I've just gotten enough out of it.
yeah,
I don't want to like push it anymore where people are like, "Okay, you're just trying to like bank in on this one thing." Cuz I don't like to do that. Nope, you still there? Did I lose you? Did I lose you? Did I lose Mr. Bruno?
yeah.
Okay, okay, I got you. Okay.
At a certain point, you've got to challenge me.
Oh no, I'm
Hello.
losing. Okay, there you are. You're back.
Oh, wouldn't challenge as a creator at all.
I'm sorry. You lagged so hard on me. I couldn't. I'm sorry about your face being frozen like this.
Okay.
Okay. Are you back?
So bad. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Wi-Fi this apartment complex is public.
It's okay. We should probably just end it here anyways because it's been an hour.
I'll read.
Do you have anything you want to plug or anything like that?
That's bonkers.
I know.
I think a plug. Yeah, you can follow my TikTok if you like. I'm Mr. Bruno.
Yeah,
Follow
follow
Instagram,
Mr. Bruno.
Mr. Bruno official. If you want, I'm trying to work on some music. So if you want, you can go visit my SoundCloud. It's
It is good.
Joe
I've
Dow.
listened to it. What is it again? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Thank you. No, it's all right. It is Joe Dowd. Thank you by the way for listening. Appreciate it. I haven't recorded a lot lately because I don't have the same gear that I used to have. And these apartments are hard to like. There's people here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try recording some stuff soon. So if you wanna hear a couple little tunes to take this to SoundCloud, I'm gonna start trying to get streaming again soon on Twitch. That's Mr. Bruno official. I can't
Yeah.
really do it quite yet because the Wi-Fi is, as you can see, Wi-Fi is dead. But yeah, that's all I've got going for me so
Hell
far.
yeah.
It's a pretty. I've got some plans for this year. I'll keep
There you
all y'all
go.
updated.
Yeah, keep us updated, dude. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. I had such a great time.
Thank
for
you. I
having
did
me.
too, of course. Thank you guys. I will see you guys next week or the week after. I don't know. I don't have really any schedule. Bye.